My manager stood in front of the whole team and said one sentence that ended her career 3 weeks later. She said, "0 exceptions, not one." She had no idea I'd take her at her exact word. Here's exactly how 0 exceptions backfired on the person who made the rule. I'd worked the electronics counter at a mid-size retail chain for almost 4 years. I knew the systems, the regulars, and when a small judgment call kept a customer happy without breaking anything important. My old manager trusted me with that. Then she left, and Melissa took over. Melissa believed rules existed to be followed exactly as written. In her first team meeting, with all 12 of us in the room, she told us, "Every policy in this handbook gets followed to the letter from now on. 0 exceptions. No, just this once. If it's not written down, the answer is no." I asked her if that meant even the policies nobody actually enforced anymore. She said, "Especially those. I want consistency, not improvising." I nodded, and I meant it. 0 exceptions, exactly as written. Here's what she didn't know. Our handbook hadn't been meaningfully updated in 6 years. It still required a full 22-point inspection form for every return, even a $2 phone charger, with a manager's signature on anything over $10. Everyone had quietly stopped doing most of that years ago. It wasn't practical. Regional management knew. Nobody enforced it. I started enforcing all of it. Exactly. The first return, a cheap charger, took 18 minutes with the full form. The line behind that customer grew to 6 people. By day 3, I'd walked to Melissa's office 11 separate times for her signature on returns, exactly as policy required. She snapped at me. "Why do you keep bringing me these forms? Just process the return." I told her, "The handbook says anything over $10 needs your signature. You said 0 exceptions." She didn't have an answer. She'd said it herself, in front of 12 witnesses who all remembered exactly what she said. By the end of week 1, wait times had tripled, and 2 customers had left 1-star reviews mentioning excessive paperwork for a simple return. Then, a corporate account rep, someone the store genuinely couldn't afford to upset, waited 25 minutes for a routine cable exchange that used to take 90 seconds. His complaint went straight to the district office. Melissa called me into her office, quieter this time. She said, "You need to use some common sense. You don't actually need my signature for every little return." I said, 0 exceptions, your words. I'm following your rule exactly. She threatened to write me up for insubordination. I told her that following the exact policy she'd given the whole team in a documented meeting wasn't insubordination, it was compliance. She didn't have an answer for that either. What neither of us knew yet was that the complaint hadn't stayed at store level. It had gone all the way up to the regional director, a man who doesn't make phone calls for small things. He showed up in person the following week, folder under his arm, and interviewed the staff one by one. Every single co-worker confirmed the same thing. Melissa had said it herself, in a meeting with witnesses, and it was even in the notes from that day. The director looked at Melissa and said, "What you meant isn't in writing. What you said is. And what he did matches what you said, exactly, every time, for 3 weeks." Here's the part that mattered most. Corporate had already flagged the region for a customer service review months earlier. long before Melissa ever took over. This wasn't really about one complaint anymore. It was clear, documented proof that a manager's decision, not an employee's, had caused a 3-week spike in customer complaints. The director said he'd need 1 day to review everything before making a final call. The call happened at 9 the next morning. I wasn't in the room, but in a 12-person store, nothing stays quiet for long. By that afternoon, the internal memo was posted. Melissa was being reassigned pending review due to operational judgment concerns. She didn't come back the next week, or the week after. One of my co-workers laughed and said I basically got her fired by doing exactly what she asked. I told him I didn't get her fired. I followed her rule. Exactly. 0 exceptions. That's all it ever was. Corporate sent someone temporary to run the store, and one of the first things they did was ask me to help rewrite the return policy, the real one, reflecting how the store should actually run today, not 6 years ago. I said yes. It felt strange writing rules I actually believed in instead of following ones I didn't. Here's what I took from it. When you ask someone for 0 exceptions, you're not just setting a rule for them, you're setting one for yourself too. Melissa never checked whether her own rule could survive being followed exactly. I made sure it couldn't. If you've ever had a manager like Melissa, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more stories like this, there's plenty more where this came from.